Hello there, this is CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm right across the river, the Red River from Bossier City, Louisiana, Northwest Louisiana. We really want people to come see us and visit us, and if you're from out of town, we will really treat you well. So I'm going to talk about this steak. When I think about a steak, uh, and I say I want it somewhere between medium and medium wellish. I think about like this. When I talk with a restaurant and I go out and I talk about how I want the steak, I'm pretty particular, you know. And so if I spend a lot of money at a restaurant for a steak dinner and it comes out nearly well done when I've asked for like a medium, you know, then I feel like maybe I don't want to be rude or anything, but maybe we could try again, uh, or something. Or if it's a little underdone, you can always throw it back on the grill, or you know what I mean. Whatever. For a while there, we had people that were new to restaurant kitchens around here, and I mean, just all over. It's like a whole new work crew, and it's like the experience wasn't there, and so I just kind of avoided. Ordering steaks in restaurants because I'm so particular about it. Chicken dishes are fine usually and stuff like that, but anything that requires specifics. I want to stick with my keto diet as much as possible. And I've made some progress in the last year or so, just eating more lean. You know, well, of course I have blue cheese on this, and that's cheese is great for keto. I did a keto diet for the past few years, and that brought me from adult onset, type 2 diabetes, and I have basically, for all intents and purposes, have reversed that, and I'm in a very safe zone with my A1C, and I'm becoming acutely aware that now is not the time uh, to rest on that achievement, but I've got to maintain it, And so I have to continue with this lifestyle choice that I've made about, my food. There are some times when I want to make an exception. I have a new kitchen because I moved into this great apartment, and it's not a commercial kitchen, but I used to have a kitchenette, and I didn't have counter space, and I really couldn't do baking. So, but I like to bake. I find it soothing, and I want to bake for have when people come over. I want to have stuff, and I'll show you what I've done tonight. Ha! So I have this, and I made it, and I have it waiting in the fridge. Now it's a very rustic recipe. It's meant to look. My thing is, if I'm going to do something that's homemade, I want it to look homemade. I can do something perfectly wonderful, and I can trim off all the edges and smooth out everything, and make a, you know, use a warm knife and smooth out the frosting and everything. But not for this. This is almost. Okay, so my idea for this is like um, the snack cakes that you'll get. The chocolate cupcakes, or uh, the whoopie pies that you can get at county fairs or something. So it's a uh, basically what it is basically a giant cream filled uh, triple layer devil's food cake. What I did was I used a standard recipe, two, 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 and two. So you can do this. It's 2 cups of self-rising flour. It is 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of sugar, and probably about 2 tablespoons of butter or oil, or that could translate. You have to use your wet ingredients, and you'll have to think about your humidity. You'll have to think about, because the humidity determines how porous your dry ingredients are and how they mix and stuff like that. So, and then whatever. Um, but the thing is, taking that basic recipe and splitting it into 3 cake pans instead of 1 cake pan, it really quickens the cooking time. Like, this was in the oven less at 350 for less than less than 15 minutes. And also, it really reduced the cooling down time when you do a cake, especially if you're going to use a creamy frosting like this. This is a whipped cream frosting. I had to really, cool this down, because if I try to put this on if the cake is still warm and you try to put whipped cream and you've spent, either you hand mixed it or you've mixed it with the beater or something like that to whisk it up and aerate this cream. If you put it on a warm cake, it's going to melt. As it is, this was medium peaks. I didn't do it to turn to butter, but it's basically I used heavy cream. And then of course what you want to do with that recipe, that basically 2 2 2 and 2 that I gave you, is if you want to add some chocolate, you can use some powdered chocolate, sweetened or unsweetened. You'll want to adjust your sugar accordingly, or if you want to put in some once the batter gets done, if you want to add in. If you want to hold off on the adding it and you want to add in chocolate syrup or whatever, there's some variations that you can do, and you can use other flavors too. You could use fruit, you can use fruit juices or whatever, and if you want to affect color, you can add in some. Add your, you do these things to taste. Add these additional flavors to taste, and if you want to, you put in a little bit of food coloring. Usually, that won't, it won't affect the recipe too much. You just have to practice. Use that basic recipe, and there are other formulas for baking that also work too. But I just like that ratio: 2 2 2 and 2. If you can remember the number 2, you can bake a cake at 350, and you split layer it like this for 15 minutes at 350. But you want to watch, and your humidity and your elevation, and the weather really matters with baking. Now this looks, honestly, this is a very rustic. It's not going to win any prizes for the way it looks right now. But you slice this sucker open and lay it on a plate, that all changes. You know what I mean? This is something that should be. It's going to be appreciated visually as it's served as the individual pieces. Now, what I've done is let these cake layers cool down before you put your whipped heavy cream. And when you're doing that, you want to add just a little bit of powdered sugar. Or I have another technique that I use that I really don't tell people about. You're my YouTube people. There's 6 of you that watch this. I'll tell you what I do. Hold on. So I'm not going to tell people who eat my cake about this, but heavy whipping cream, and you can use any brand of heavy whipping cream. It's generally all the same. And then if you want a really good flavor, you can use a coffee creamer. Coffee creamer that's flavored like this, candied flavored coffee creamer, it comes with sugar in it. So you actually don't have to add sugar when you go to the whipping cream. So I added no sugar to the whipping cream. This has got 5 grams of sugar in it, and it has the subtle flavor of a Snickers bar. So it's not, so there's a little bit of, oh my God. So, and that's my trick on that. So when people go to eat this, they'll be like, what is that? It's delicious. And so what I've done is I've prepared the cake. I let it cool. Then I put the layers on. And then what I'm doing is I don't want to eat this. I want to wait until I have company, and I'll share it with company. And I have some coming over the weekend, just drifting in and out. And that they'll come in for coffee, or I'll go visit them and I'll take some cake. And what we'll do is we will basically eat this a little bit at a time. So I've got this plastic, and I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let it sit in a refrigerator. And you want to make sure that if you do this, you want your refrigerator to be free of you don't want cooked foods in your refrigerator with the cake. You don't want your cake absorbing the odors and taste and everything like that of other foods. But yeah, so you definitely want to put this in a refrigerator because it's a milk product, but also it'll help keep the the whipped cream firm, so that when you go to cut into it and everything like that, it'll hold its firmness and shape and everything. So it's great. So the recipe: 2 cups self-rising flour, uh, and 2 cups of sugar. And to your dry ingredients, you can add cocoa mix, chocolate, Hershey's baking chocolate, the powdered stuff. That's great to use. Always recommend that. What's on top is a Mr. Good bar, and it's basically there just to keep the plastic off the top of the cake. Uh, now I just took the remainder of the cream that was in the bowl and just kind of like dropped it all over the cake. This is not and I didn't make it to be a pretty cake. I made it to be a delicious cake. Uh, you know, uh, you can keep whipping this frosting, and you can keep adding powdered sugar if you wanted to. I didn't use powdered sugar, but the more powdered sugar you add to your frosting, you can get stiffer and stiffer and almost a candied texture with this filling if you wanted to. And then you can make like little candy pieces and put on top of your cake. I don't know. Uh, all I know is for sure this is one damn delicious cake, because as you know, if you bake, you don't have to eat the cake. You get to uh, taste the beaters and scrape the bowls when you're finished. And this is an awesomely delicious cake. So, but yeah, but this is one of my tips about that recipe: two, 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 and two, and then of course blending a little bit of coffee creamer, just enough to give it some flavor, not enough to disturb the thickness of your heavy whipping cream. But get your cream really aerated and folded first, and slowly drizzle in your coffee creamer, and then you will have the additional flavor that you want, and you won't really have to have added uh, uh, a tremendous amount of sugar, you know. Um, anyway, and you guys probably can make prettier cakes than this. I can make a prettier cake than this. I'm just, it's like, at this point, we're just going to hack into it. It looks like to me one of those Hostess, Suzy Q's. Suzy Q's are like, I have always thought they were like, like that's going to be, um, the snack cakes that you put in the lunchbox and stuff like that. That's the Suzy Q that I'm talking about, and they're overly stuffed and messy and just disgusting to look at, but totally delicious. That's kind of what I was going for with this, and I would say that I have achieved it. If you wanted to get some semi-sweet, you can carve it, shavings of it, and everything like that. Or ornate the hell out of a cake. Um, um, but yeah, whatever. Uh, and I see a hole in my frosting, but that's okay. It's more pronounced on this high definition. All these little imperfections, they're a lot more pronounced. This does look a lot better in person. What's really going to be great is tomorrow, when I'm cutting into this thing, when I lay it on a plate, the presentation is going to look so awesome, and I'm really going to be filled with like happy pride to be able to like serve my company a really, really decent cake that tastes delicious and looks great laid sideways on plate. And I will talk to everybody later. I love you guys. And so watch your health. Do a little cake now and then, but the sweets should not be a lifestyle. So I have to be careful on that. That's why I have to share these cakes. I can't just eat a whole cake. That's ridiculous. I'm not even going to eat one tonight. I'm going to wait until I get company. Okay. Love you guys. Have a good night. Bye.